This episode was one spicy mother borker, from Mei-Mei's fight with Pseudo-Geto's smallpox curse to Maki and some Zenin clan action. This episode was immensely insane, so let's break down the episode and analyze it from head to gripper.
Those dogs are barking.
If you love JJK, AOT, Invincible, or even One Piece, hey, maybe you should subscribe and drop a like on the video. This is a place for you. Yes, even you, Todd, you son of a... After breaking out of the smallpox's domain expansion, Mei-Mei basically takes the time to gloat and explain how she broke out of it. The key to this is understanding how its domain expansion works, which is in 3 steps. 1, trap user in coffin. 2, bury under a gravestone. And 3, start a 3 count. Those are basically the conditions for the domain to take effect. Basically like a pinfall in a wrestling match to a degree. If Mei-Mei didn't kick out, then she would have been infected by the disease and basically fucking die. However, Mei-Mei realizes that if she's hit with such a technique again, then she won't be able to fight Pseudo-Geto at top form, which obviously would annoy her. She also is able to figure out from deduction that the domain can really only target one person at a time. So the cursed spirit on instinct targets whichever is the strongest immediately. So Mei-Mei and Ui Ui work together for their new plan. Let Ui Ui basically become the target and potentially die. To which Mei-Mei at least asks his consent, I guess, to which Ui Ui is like way too eager to do. And honestly, with each passing week, my faith in Mei-Mei and Ui Ui fades, becoming obsolete. So they begin their attack as Mei-Mei goes off to the side while Ui Ui builds up his cursed energy, and just as planned, the cursed spirit notices Ui Ui, and so he is trapped inside of a coffin. And as the curse is ready to lower the gravestone, which would be enough to easily kill Ui Ui, Mei-Mei intervenes in time, slicing off its hands with her beautiful axe. I mean, seriously though, the axe is legit insane. I just can't get over how awesome it is. Also, it is kind of crazy that the only person that can block Mei-Mei's curse technique is Gojo. Really puts into perspective how powerful Mei-Mei is, and I also think that it's a great way to use Gojo as a power scale, which puts a lot of importance on his character. It's something I really like when they do in this series. So as Nanami and the Zenins make their way through Shibuya, they discuss Gojo's ceiling, and I find this really interesting because it spotlights the Zenin clan's ideal and how Maki really rebels against them, sort of like Toji Fushiguro did. Now, Bito also would love to see the downfall of the Gojo family, but Maki scolds him and tells him to be more serious or leave. She really has no room for that kind of thing at all, and now Bito in response tells him that she should go back instead, which obviously ticks off Maki as she tells Nanami she's more useful than Naobito, who was a drunk. And this is an aspect of Maki's character that we should really all pay more attention to, as I think it's no mistake she feels this way about Naobito and the Zenins. I mean, we've been building this up since season 1, and I feel like it could really pay off in either season 2 or whatever may come next in a really big way. So they arrive at the site of the cursed spirit in the train station. It's a cute looking and sounding Cthulhu monster, which then spits out all the humans it's consumed into a pile of bones as it's calling out for Jogo, Geto, and Hanami. How cute! Making it angry and proclaiming that they were the ones who killed Nanami as it transforms into a more imposing form, filling the station with water. And then, let me tell you, this scene, whew, Maki is super impressive here as she uses her pole to puncture the concrete pillar to balance on that said pole. Ladies and gentlemen, the men and women at MAPPA know you Maki simp so well, and you're disgusting pervert. I'm totally down for this. Maki is absolutely the best girl in this episode. I also love how she says, so much water here. Yeah, a lot. So now Bito reveals himself to be a nerd gatekeeping film fanatic as he asks the cursed spirit about the increase of resolution in frames. And I mean, he really goes in on interpolation here and just tears into it. And honestly, I agree. Fuck frame interpolation. All of those anime fights in 4K and 60 FPS ruins it, as it doesn't preserve the original vision of the art at all. It's boring, and Albito is right. And if you don't agree, L+ ratio, cringe, and unfriend. So Nanami and Maki use this opening to attack as now Bito literally turns the spirit into a frame, which Nanami then shatters, leading to a stalemate as we get this gorgeous close-up of Daddy Nanami. And I mean, the animation in this first part of the fight is truly just killer. And once again, I feel the composition of JJK makes this series so immersive, which adds a lot to the animation overall. Many people will say the animation carries this show, but I think they're missing all of the composition work done in this series that does a lot of heavy lifting, especially in season 2. So they all launch another attack, and it's pretty effective overall, which is when we get an explanation for Naobito's projection sorcery, This technique segments a single second into 24 animation frames, executed within the user's field of view. Utilizing it grants extraordinary speed, exceeding even that of special grade cursed spirits, and any object touched by the user's hand must follow the 24 FPS rule when in motion. Failing to do so basically immobilizes the subject in a vulnerable animation frame for 1 second. While potent, it does also have risks, including an unadjustable course, potential user immobilization if physics laws are violated, and a capped acceleration. Yet continuous use allows speed to build, so this is a technique that literally makes him faster than Gojo. Think about that. However, something insane happens. Cthulhu Baby teleports them to a sunny beach with lots of colors, which is something we don't get to see often in Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, and this is his domain expansion where he uses Shikigami in the form of fish to attack them all. So now Bito impressively uses his technique explicitly made to fight domain expansions, Secret Art Falling Blossom Emotion. And Falling Blossom Emotion really differs from Simple Domain as it shields the user with cursed energy, launching a counterattack upon contact with a domain's guaranteed hit. So this energy acts as an automatic defense, equalizing and negating incoming attacks, and when applied to, say, swordplay, it enhances the user's sword, allowing it to strike automatically upon contact with anything touched by that cursed energy. So as this is happening, Maki and Nanami deal with the bevy of cursed spirits coming for them, as Nanami is ganged up on and attacked as now Bito's technique seems to fail, and Maki is dealt with pretty swiftly as she's kicked away. But in JJK fashion, nothing is as simple as it seems, as Maki, now bleeding from her freaking eye, gets back up as Megumi makes a surprise appearance breaking into the domain to give Maki her nunchucks, and you just know after that look on her face and the good music starts to hit, things are about to get real. So Maki immediately launches an attack, missing some in-between frames here, which is unfortunate, but still, pretty good stuff. Megumi then begins to build up his domain as Cthulhu Baby goes to attack with his cursed spirits, but instead, in a super surprising move, Nanami, now battle damaged and looking even hotter, slices through them, saving Megumi from the attack. Then in another even more surprising move, now Bito, missing an arm, also attacks, and they may have been hit pretty hard, but man, these guys, they're tough. So Megumi tells Nanami his plans to make a hole in the domain, which will give someone enough room to break through the domain. Basically, Megumi tells him that he would willingly sacrifice his life to protect these three and get them out, as he plans to use that opening for them and stay behind in this domain. But Megumi, he's ready. So he opens the domain and wow, none other than Sweater Daddy appears. Toji Fushiguro, you guys. Holy crap. I'm super hyped for the next episode of JJK because we're finally going to get an interaction between Megumi and Toji, at least I hope, and honestly, what will that be like? Otherwise, this episode was pretty much straight fire and a great follow-up to the last episode especially. The animation, though, is very rough around the edges, and clearly the insane amount of people cycling through these episodes, sometimes around 100 episode directors, that's right, 100 separate people working on them at once, which is absolutely atrocious. But they're still able to put out something that's still really damn good, and that's impressive. Though, I really do feel like, based on the fact that some of these animations are pretty much completed outside of in between and some second keyframes, that the JJK Season 2 Blu-ray is just going to be an absolute must to experience exactly what JJK Season 2, in theory, has to offer. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to you guys. Last week's video got nearly 20k views and tons of awesome feedback and reception. Thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. Content creation is really hard and stressful and even depressing, so while I think it's unlikely we'll ever get 20k again on a JJK video, I want to at least ask you guys to help me try and replicate even 1/10 of the success of last week's video. Please help me out by dropping a like, comment what you thought about the episode at the very least. I'd love to see what you have to say, and hey, maybe if I earned it, subscribe. Thank you so much for your support, and be safe, y'all. Have a good day. Financially support the channel by becoming a patron, where you'll gain access to my mega One Piece arc reviews and first impressions. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.